Ça fait des mois que je voulais vous faire cette vidéo-là. Donc quand on m'a proposé, eh bien, je me suis dit je vais le faire. Donc bougez pas, je vais ajouter donc Stanislav. Hop. Donc j'espère que tout le monde va bien. Pour ceux qui ne parlent pas l'anglais, parce que là je vais devoir switcher en anglais dès que Stanislav va me rejoindre. Donc ce live sera dispo en replay sur mon Instagram, sur leur Instagram et sur leur chaîne YouTube. Donc je vous donnerai le lien plus tard. Donc ce sera rediffusé, vous aurez le replay et sur le replay vous pouvez ajouter des sous-titres si jamais vous comprenez pas. Donc alors je crois qu'il essaye de me joindre. Hop. Non. Je vais attendre qu'il se connecte. Je sais pas si ça a fonctionné ma demande. Shamayev. Hop. Désolée, hein, je galère toujours autant pour la technique. Mais bon, ça va le faire. Donc voilà, donc aujourd'hui, il va vous faire un topo sur un certain nombre de questions pour les Français qui veulent immigrer aux États-Unis. Ça me dit qu'il n'est pas joignable. Attendez, c'est très bizarre. Désolée. Hein. Hop. Bon, je fais ce que je peux. Hein. Donc, on va faire un certain nombre de sujets que lui a prédéfinis et moi, j'ai rajouté des questions. Coucou papa, coucou tout le monde. J'ai rajouté des questions à moi. Shamayev Business Law joined. So if you hear me, Stanislav, I tried to add you 3 times as an invitee in the live and I didn't succeed. I hope you can join. Wait. Yes, now it's fine. I have accepted you. Donc pour les Français, je termine rapidement la partie française. Donc j'invite Stanislav aujourd'hui pour ce live. Il va répondre à des questions sur l'immigration de Français aux États-Unis. Et il va vous parler un peu de ce qu'il fait aussi. Et surtout, surprise qu'il a décidé d'offrir à tous ceux qui ont envie. Il offre une analyse gratuite de votre cas. Ça ne veut pas dire qu'il fera les visas, hein, mais il offre une analyse gratuite de votre cas. En 48 heures si vous envoyez un mot, vous m'envoyez un mot spécial sur mon Instagram. Et je suis désolée, je galère. Ah, ça y est. Hi Stanislav.
Hi, bonjour.
Hello, bonjour. I'm sorry, I tried to add you, I don't know, 5 times and it didn't work.
No problem. No problem. As long as we can get in contact, that's all that matters at this point.
That's fine. So I was just telling our audience that it will be launched here and on YouTube, and that they can access it later on YouTube too, with subtitles for no English, for the people who don't speak English.
Right.
So nice to meet you, and thank you for the occasion to share that with my community.
Absolutely, nice to meet you. I'm excited about this stream because I saw the way that you went through from being in France and coming to the US. So your story is really exciting, and I do believe that a lot of people can get a lot of insights from your side of the story, and more from my side, from the legal standpoint, which visas and which programs could be used and stuff like that. So I think we're going to bring a lot of value with this stream.
And I'm okay with that. And you know what? It's kind of a coincidence because like 1 week before you contacted me, I was putting on my list, find an immigration lawyer to give insights. So it was like the universe sending you to me.
Yes,
so I'm
absolutely.
So happy about this.
Absolutely. I believe in universe too, and energy. So, you attract what you're putting out there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good. So I told the French people how they could follow us. I also told them about the special offer you proposed, but I didn't say a lot. I just teased them. So you will have to explain what you proposed, the case analysis.
Sure. Yes. Like we're going to be. I'll mention that a few times throughout the stream, that whoever is listening to us right now will be able to get the free evaluation process, which means that if a person who's like, okay, I want to know my chances and if I have potential in the case, they could DM me visa to my personal direct message, and I'll send the form, and I'll do the free evaluation once the form is filled out and sent to me within 2 days. So this is a great opportunity for anyone who is interested in coming to the US. And we do have French clients, we do have French speaking clients, and they're all happy to be here and enjoying the new opportunities. So we would love to have more from France, absolutely.
Actually, one guy of my community wrote to me, great, it's my lawyer, I will not miss it, etc. So it's
oh, really? There you go.
I
so there's a
connection.
There's a connection. Yeah, it's good.
Yes. Just a question so that it's clear for everyone. This word, so the word is visa, V-I-S-A, and they send it to you or in DM or to me?
Yeah, they sent it to me, so we could directly communicate, and I could send the links for them, and it's going to be the link with the marks, so we know where that link is coming from.
Okay, good. Good. Thank you for that. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you want to talk a bit about what you are doing?
Absolutely. So let me guys introduce myself. My name is Stanislav Shamayev. I'm a licensed business immigration and corporate attorney in Miami, Florida. But because we do immigration law, my license, it could be used for any state. So basically, if somebody comes to New York or California or Hawaii, it doesn't really matter, we can help. I'm also the founder and the leading attorney in Shamayev Business Law. We have our headquarters here in Miami, but our operations spread in more than 55 countries all over the world, including France. And we actually have a recent approval for EB2 and IW, national interest waiver, for our client from France, who is an IT specialist. And there is an interview with him on my YouTube channel. So my company is about 100 people working in this project. We have 10 departments. And for almost 10 years of the practice, we got more than 2,500 approvals in the visas that we specialize in. And the overall chance of approval with my company is more than 90%.
Wow.
Which is, for you guys to understand, the average by the statistics from the USCIS is about 50%. So we are pushing the upper limit of this equation. And also we have a specialty, and I in particular have the specialty, which is a talent visa, the national interest waiver visa, and the visas that have to do with business and investment. So we have very narrow direction. We don't take family cases. We don't take asylum cases. We don't take no cases to this respect, but anything that has to do with talent, national interest waiver, we're doing on a daily basis, and that's what separates us from anybody else. So with this being said, let's how you want to do this? You want to go over the questions that you collected before the stream, or which way you want to organize it?
I think the best way is to go through the question, and then if people have questions, they can ask them if we have time.
Sure.
But I think I collected quite a lot of questions and made a kind of recap, so it will cover most of the general questions we had.
Sure. So I agree that let's do those questions, but let me ask you one question. I think it's important for me, and I think it's important maybe for our followers and listeners. So tell me, from your own experience, what are the biggest cultural differences between US and France, and also whether you can see that French people can find a place in the US?
Big question, but I am experiencing it right now. So I would say, from my point of view, the biggest difference is the state of mind they have. The Americans are really positive and always seeing the possibilities and what they could do instead of what is not possible and to be negative, etc. I love France. It's a great country. You have a lot of great stuff, but I cannot deny that we have a kind of pessimistic state of mind,
Really?
generally more than here. And that's also why I wanted to move here, because I'm way more like the American people. I'm trying to stay positive all the time. Of course, it doesn't work all the time, huh? But as we said, universe and everything. So I really feel that here on an everyday basis. And I remember also when I came back from the US to France a few months ago, I felt back this pessimistic ambience that was not for me. And when I see all my community, what they are telling to me and the people around me, not necessarily on Instagram, they are all talking about that, about how people are positive here and how they are looking for opportunities and how everything is possible. It's not the dream. I'm used to say it's not the American dream because you have to earn it and you have to fight for it. But still, once you're here, everything seems easier and chiller, I would say. And so the people I relate to about that, most of them are like, I have the impression at least, like me, like they are looking for a place where they can feel better, more in phase with the people. And I think most of my community is like that, and that's why they are following me. And that's why also some of them want to move, or at least come in vacation if they don't want to change their life.
Right. And France also has this great opportunity to come here on visa waiver program for a couple of months and get to know people and see what's going on. So it's not like, you know, many other countries, some of my clients, you wouldn't believe it, they're getting the green cards through EB1A, EB2 and IW, the talent visa and national interest, without ever being to the States. So this is insane in my mind. But I love this adventurous spirit, you know. Okay, let's burn all the bridges, just come to the US and explore and get to know what we can do here.
Yeah, that's great. That's bold. I would never do that.
That's pretty bold.
Before to see and I knew the US, you know, I knew some other states, but I had to visit first to see, okay, can I live there? Is it possible? But I think it's really bold and I admire that.
Me too. Yeah.
Just a question back. When you said, would you want to start with the question of the stream? What did you mean by stream? In which measure is it different from the questions?
No, just this right now we have the stream, so we're streaming. Yeah, so whatever the questions that you prepared, let's just go over them.
Okay, it's the one we agreed with your team. So normally you,
the ones
specialist about that. So
what would you say? The ones with the team, yes.
Yeah. What would you say are the most popular visas to move from France to the US from your point of view?
So I do believe that if we're talking about moving permanently and living here in the US, we are talking about two most important visas. The first one is EB1A. This is a talent visa. They call it extraordinary people visa. But guys, don't get scared. You know, it's and I know the examples they give, like Nobel Prize winners and Oscar. Right. I yet to see anybody who won those prizes in my career, not yet. So I always say that EB1A, the talent visa, is for good professionals in the field. So if you are a professional in whatever field that is, medicine, engineers, IT, architect, whatever that is, we can get you in on EB1A. The second one is EB2 and IW, and that is the national interest waiver visa, where we need to present the idea of some kind of project that will be in the national interest of the US. It will be important to the US government. So both of those visas, they lead to 10-year green card, to 10-year residency, which then leads to the passport. In 5 years, we may get a passport, the US passport. And why do I isolate those two visas? Why? Because there are a lot of them, right? Like,
of course.
Dozens and dozens and dozens. So why those two? Because only EB1A and EB2 and IW are the only two visas where everything is under our control.
What do you mean
What I mean by that means that we don't have to rely on anybody in the US or on a third party or an employer to get us those visas, because like you here with your husband on L1 and L2 visas, right? So you guys heavily rely on your employer, and if he says I don't need you anymore, that's it. You're done. You have to leave. So EB1A and EB2 and IW, they self-petitioned visas. We don't have to have an employer to file for those visas.
Okay, so if I understand well, it means these are visas without sponsoring.
Exactly. Yes, and you know the terminology. You know what sponsoring means, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that sponsoring means that they have to pay for it, right? So it's there's true to this to some extent, but that's not exactly what it means. Sponsoring means when they actually sign your petition for you to and claim that you're going to be working for them, right? So and that may involve some financial relationship, of course. I don't deny that. So EB1A, EB2 and IW are self-petitioned, and they the only two visas where we can build up the case just based on our facts that we have and get approval for without relying on anybody else.
Okay, and then you mentioned the third one, right?
The two. I mentioned the two. So EB1A and EB2 and IW. Yes. Okay. Of course, we may speak about, and actually that's it's good you asked that, because we could talk about EB5. The EB5, the passive investment EB5 visa, but that's for those who have the budget of $800,000. Okay.
Okay, so it's more rare.
Yeah, it's like not everybody has that, so we can use that, and it also does not require the actual employer, although it's employment based, but it requires almost like $1 million to do all things needed to get the green card.
Okay. Yeah. So not everyone has that. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I take the occasion because I saw two questions in the comments. When you speak about these visas, is real estate also possible for these visas? You said any field. Is real estate part of that too?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We actually, the real estate has been quite a hot topic with my company recently. We got 2 EB1As from Russia for people who were basically real estate brokers.
Okay.
Who were buying and selling, and they built the company on this. We have a lot of approvals on EB2 and IW side, and EB1A and O1. O1 is also a good visa for those who have some achievement, but not a lot. That's like a smaller sister of EB1A.
Okay. The O1, I knew it from as an artist visa, but I don't know everything that it means.
And you know, a lot of people think that O1 is only for art, like for artists, for actors, for people like that. But actually, O1 is much bigger than that. Okay. It gets the business, it gets science, IT, sports, everything else, education. So O1 is a great visa to start your journey to the US without a big commitment, and see what's going. Like you guys on L1 visa, and your direction is usually EB1C, right? That's how you may transition to the green card. But also, and by the way, Sita, I wanted to talk to you about this too. Maybe one of the questions, or we can discuss it right now, because I know your husband he's like aerospace engineer. Is that something like that? Look, when I hear something, anything connected to the space, aerospace, astrophysics, anything related that's above the ground.
It's not space, it's aeronautics. It's planes.
So let's anything that's above the ground, any science that's above the ground. Okay, let's make it easier. That always sounds to me like a green card.
Yeah.
Okay, so like your husband is probably at this point is a very good candidate for EB2 and IW for national interest waiver, and maybe even for EB1A, because those type of professions, we always get them approved. always. Any kind of engineer, any kind of scientist, any kind of IT, cybersecurity, blockchain, architecture. So all these people, they in a STEM category.
Okay.
Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So and I would add business to this also.
Okay.
Those are very good candidates for the visas we're discussing, because those type of professions are in a huge demand in the US.
Okay. Yes, so they can get visas easier than maybe other.
Much easier. That's the policy of U.S. government and the current administration as well.
Okay, good. And are some states easier for immigration, or is it the same for all states?
You know, it's the answer to this question is no. No, there's no such a thing, and especially recently, because if you asked me this question a year ago, I would tell you, okay, we have 2 immigration centers that are serving the immigrant visas. One is in Nebraska, one in Texas. So depending on the state where you used to claim you would be once you come to the US, your case would go to one immigration center or the other.
Okay.
And there was a theory, and again, it's never been proved or disproved. It's been a theory that, let's say, art cases, the sport cases, they better for Nebraska center, and STEM cases, IT, business, they better for Texas center. So sometimes we would pick the state where we claim our client will be based on solely on that.
Okay.
Recently, they changed the system, so now all cases go to one location. And then they sort them out based on the load of whatever center that is. So now we have no influence on which center it will be going to. Only USCIS decides that. So with this being said, the answer is no. We cannot influence that. However, the old theory is still kind of in place, because it's never been disproved that certain cases are approved better in one immigration center than the other. But again, I wouldn't base my location or my future living just off that, because yeah, that's a little too much. Yeah.
Okay, because some people target some states, and I already heard that they think it would be easier in some states, but
absolutely no. And immigration law is federal, guys.
Okay.
So it's not the state that decides whether you're going to be here or not. It's the federal government, and the federal government is same across all the states.
For everyone, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I had in the question, can you get a visa without employer or sponsor? But you already answered actually the question.
Yes. So let me add to this, because if there's a specific question, I feel like I need to give like more extensive information. So absolutely, EB1A, the extraordinary ability people, talent visas, does not require an employer. All we need to do is prove 3 criteria out of the 10 possible. That's the measure of the talent, the criteria. It's pretty objective measure, I would say. There is subjective thing in it, but objective is that what we're looking at. And EB2 and IW. I want to also add to this that the business visas like E2 and even L1, like in your situation, your husband worked in somebody's company in France, and then they had affiliated company in the US, and then they transferred. Many times, the person who is being transferred from outside company to the US company is also the owner of the company. And that's usually for smaller businesses, for small or mid-sized businesses. So with L1 and E2, although technically we have an employer, but that employer is us. It's our own company. So yes, we need, but it's us. So it's kind of, it's like this kind of limbo, like legal limbo, I call it. And also the O1 visa, don't forget O1 visa. Yes, it does require an employer, but like L1 and E2, O1, the small talent visa, the non-immigrant talent visa, may be used for your own company as well. Okay. So a French person can register an LLC in the US, get the criteria ready to go, and that we can help with certain criteria to make it strong, then file on his or her own company, claiming it to be their employer, and then come and work through the company with other projects, with doing business in the US.
Okay. Okay. It's just I'm processing everything because I heard so much about visas, and now I need to streamline also everything in my head.
Yes, to
But I
put
think
it on the shelf.
each
Yeah.
situation is also really different, so each people has to have his case looked at, because it's not possible like to give a general answer for everyone. So
Yeah, and again, if because we call it professional. I forgot the medical term for it, but when you do something for a long time, it affects your life that much that you speak about like easy things in your mind, but for people who listen to you, like, oh my God, what he's talking about, like it's so hard. So if you guys get to this point where you're like, oh man, it's like too much information, everything mixes up in my head, all you need to do is send me a message with the word visa, okay? And I'll give you a few forms to fill out, and that would be much better for everybody. You guys spend 10-15 minutes filling out those forms, then I get to look at them and let you know which visa is good for you, which criteria will satisfy, and things like that. So DM me visa, just one word, VISA, and I'll walk you through.
Thank you for that. And can you tell us how long does it take, I would say, in average, maybe for each kind of visa you mentioned, the
Sure.
immigration process?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a few points to touch on in this sense. I separate the answer to this question at least in two topics: immigrant visas and non-immigrant visas. Right. So let me guys teach you an easy thing, how to distinguish whether visa is immigrant or non-immigrant. Right? Because this is a huge difference. Immigrant visa gives you a green card, a residency in the US, and all like non-immigrant O1, L1, E2, they don't give you the green card. They give you just temporary time to work in the US. So it's really easy. Any visa that starts with two letters, EB, right? So EB1, EB2, EB3, 5 categories. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They all lead to green card directly.
Okay.
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 Anything else outside of that is non-immigrant, right? Okay. So anything like O1, P1, F1, B1, B2, those are non-immigrant visas because they don't start with EB, employment based. This is short for employment based. So we separate EB visas and others, non-immigrant. So for and within non-immigrant, no, strike that. Within immigrant visas that lead to the green card, there are also, each category has its own wait time, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Because we're talking about mostly about EB1A and EB2NIW, then I would address the wait time for those two. So to get the case together and file it and get an approval, it's about 6 months.
Okay. 6 months, so until acceptation and until approval.
And they have expedited processing. They call it premium processing, which means you pay a little bit extra, and they adjudicate your case within a couple of weeks. Okay. So 6 months for this process, and then for EB1A, it's going to take about 9 months to schedule the interview in the embassy and get the visa and a passport, which will allow you to then cross the border with US and get your green cards activated. So we call it this way. So it's, if you count the months, it's like a year and 3 months, but I always say a year and a half. Okay. So EB1A is a year and a half. EB2NIW, because there is a wait, there's a backlog for this visa, and there is a 1.5 years backlog wait after the approval. This visa will take 2.5 years, maybe a little bit more, from the time we start working on the case till the time a person will get the visa in the passport. So this is EB1A and EB2NIW. All non-immigrant visas, it's much easier. It's also up to 6 months of getting the case together and about 2 months to schedule the interview in the embassy. So altogether, it's about 8 months from the time we start the case to the time someone enters the US with a work visa.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's great. I don't know if you can answer that here, but it was part of the questions initially.
Sure.
Do you have a rough estimation of how much it can cost for the people who make a file with you, for example?
Oh, absolutely. We have, you know, this is something we're proud of, because the policy of my company is transparency. So we don't hide how many cases we have, how many clients, how many approvals, how many. We open about it. We talk about it, and we're also open about our monetary policies, right? We don't say, "Oh, come to the consultation and then I'll tell you how much." No. We're not doing it like this. Okay, it's same for everyone. We don't separate who is rich, who is not. It's not. That's not how we work. So there are different prices in the company, and we have like 4 levels of the prices. But everybody is interested in the bottom line, like how much. What's the minimum it may cost me to hire an attorney to go through those visas? So immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB, all those immigrant visas are $13,000.
Okay.
And non-immigrant, O1, E2, everything besides L1, besides your visa. Because L1, the cost as if it's an immigrant visa, because it's very hard. It's a lot of work. So all immigrant and L1 is 13,000. Everything else is 11,000. Okay.
And so this is the minimum. It's a minimum price, or it's
that's the minimum price. Yes, that's the bottom price. So that's the price for our services, and what does it include, right? Like, okay, what I'm paying for. Well, first of all, it's split in 3 payments. You don't have to pay in the beginning the whole sum. It's in 3 payments, in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. So that's number 1. Number 2, what do you get? You get a team of anywhere from 5 to 7 people who will be attached to the case. I will be the one controlling and leading the case. You have the 4-level verification process of each document, meaning that each document is reviewed at least by 4 people. Okay, and where I'm at the top. I'm at the last resort, saying, okay, it's a good one, or no, we need to work more on this document. We also provide the templates. We provide the examples of whatever letters needs to be drafted, the recommendation letters. We also provide different programs within the company to help our clients to get the paperwork that they couldn't get by themselves. We also provide for contacts of PR agencies, because the talent visas case and the national interest waiver cases, they rarely go without PR agencies. Why? Because we need to get some press out. We need to get maybe some conferences for people who never done that before. We need to get some publications, like scientific publications. And I'm not saying that nobody can do it on their own, but when you work with professionals who know how to expedite and make this process efficient, that's much better, right? So we provide basically all the resources, the deadlines, the processes, how the case goes within 5 months, reminders, and all this kind of good stuff. So that's what everybody gets for these prices. What are the expenses? Because that's the services of the attorney, right? So what are the expenses? The government fee. Okay, and it's a little different for different visas, but the average with expedited processing, meaning that they're going to review the case within like 15 days, 2 weeks, that would be somewhere around 3,500, so 3,500, right? Okay. So add that up, that goes to the government, not to us. Sometimes the translations, and I know in France, most of the government documents are in French, so they need to be translated. So whatever that cost is, it's always different depending on the language, on the volume of that thing. That's another expense. And the last expense that's possible, I already mentioned that the PR agencies, that depending on the case, how much you need to add to make it a solid case, that's going to be a separate expense. If you had to put me in a corner with a gun at my head and ask me like how much I will need to spend on average talent case for EB1A for the PR agencies, I would say $6,000 to $8,000. That would be the average, and it would cover the press and the scientific publications. And there's a lot of variables in those things, but that would be a solid understanding how much a client will need to spend.
Okay. What you just mentioned about, for example, getting a PR agency to do the publications, etc. Does it all happen in the time frame you told me before?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's not like
and
people have to think about, okay, I would publish something next year and then we can launch it. No, it's all included.
No, that's why you have to have it as a separate expense, because it's all streamlined basically. Because the PR agencies that work across the globe, they know what exactly we need, and they know that we need it fast, basically. So it's not like, you know, I know some clients come and like, Stanislav, I've been working with this attorney, we've been communicating through emails, I send him email and then I wait for 2 weeks, maybe he answers, maybe he doesn't answer. Like, it was a very upsetting experience. We don't work like this. Our communication is regulated, and we have a group in the Telegram Messenger where you can drop your question any time of the day, night, whenever you wake up and, oh my God, this is something bothers me. Yes, it may not be answered immediately because we have the communication days, Mondays and Thursdays. But if it's something like very emergent, like urgency, then we can also do it. So, you see, a cat is always a good sign. A cat
it's a black cat. But for me,
cat doesn't go to the bad energy. Never goes with the bad energy.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a good sign. Yes, and you see this like Murad here is with us, and he's like saying
it's him who told me.
Yeah, and he says Tuesday and Tuesday and Thursdays, guys. You know, I'm doing the strategic stuff. Yeah, so there are certain days for the communication, let's put it this way. So yeah, that's important to understand, because the mission of my corporation is to make the immigration easy here, right? There's no way to make it easy. There's no way, but you can make it easier, right? So we do everything. We have the teams that working, and Murad is here. You see, I never asked Murad to say this. He's doing it on his own. So we really take care of our clients, and moreover, we have the quality control department in my corporation, and they are independent arbitrage. So basically, if there's something, if you were wronged somehow, right? Maybe somebody didn't answer your question, didn't do something didn't go right. So you can write to the Department of Quality Control. They will do investigation, and they independent. I cannot influence them. No director, no one can say them what to do. So they completely independent, and they resolve those issues. They come and say, yes, it's our mistake. We're sorry. We're going to fix the processes. We're going to change the team, whatever. So this is a really good tool of feedback loop for our clients, because I know other attorneys don't have that. So I think this is a huge thing for us to offer it to our clients.
Okay, now that we are in the money topic, can you tell us, I always have the question about how much investment is needed for this investor visa. Is there actually a minimum, or is it just rumor?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Or $1,050,000. And again, without going much into detail, one is passive investment. When you give your money to the American developers who are accredited by the US government, that's called the passive investment, and they create the jobs, so they control your money. You do nothing, right? You just wait, and then you get your money back in about 5 years. The active investment, when you promise to the US government and you provide the business plan for that you will invest that $1 million and create 10 jobs within 2 first years after getting the green card. Okay, so that's EB5. That gives you the green card, the program that gives you the green card. There are two other business investor visas. This is L1 and E2, right? We already mentioned them. And again, let's put it this way: L1 could be used as an investor visa, right? Because sometimes it's a transfer between two big companies of a functional manager or a good employee or somebody with a skill. But those cases where there's a small business and the owner and CEO of that company wants to extend his or her business to the US and open up a startup. Okay, so L1 visa could be used for that. And here, the law does not say, okay, 100 to, it doesn't say it. But from my experience, from almost 10 years doing this thing on a daily basis, I've never seen L1 investment less than $60,000. Okay. And it's not because it's something into the law, but because the way the L1 visa business needs to develop just requires some type of investment according to the business plan. Okay. So that's so I would say 60 is the bottom line for L1 with a startup here in the US. But usually it's anywhere between 150 to 200, 250. So around those lines. The third one is E2.
E2, yes.
Yeah, E2 is a perfect, sometimes it's a perfect decision for Frenchmen because you guys may have a 5-year visa for as low as $100,000 investment into the startup, your own startup, which you control and direct, or you can purchase a business for this amount or more. All we need to do is to show that the money has been made clean. So it's a clean money. We pay the taxes. And in France, you guys pay crazy taxes. I don't know how you do this. People complain about American taxes. Oh my God! Look at France, guys. killing you right there. So yeah, the clean money, and it's 5 years visa. The spouse like you can get E2 as well and can work anywhere in the US, and also the kids could go to any public school for free. Okay. So E2 is sometimes it's a very good decision if you want to do the business and make money, and it's also a good way to explore other options, how to get the green card at some point in the future if you decide to do so.
Okay, great. Because this one is I heard a lot about this one. It's the first one all the people are talking about when they don't have a sponsor or an employer.
Right. You can become a sponsor to yourself, basically.
Okay. And what about people who have different origins? Like you have, for example, a French passport, but a wife or a husband. Let's say it's the wife who is moving, who has a visa and coming from somewhere else. Does it impede something, or
no, not really. So let's say one spouse is French, one spouse from Algeria or Tunisia, some other countries, right? And I'm saying it absolutely neutral. I'm not into politics, so I don't know what you guys have. That maybe sometimes I say something like, "Oh, no, guys, I'm out of this." So yeah, it does really. So let's say one spouse has the right to be on E2 visa through the French passport, but the other one has some other origin. So that spouse is going to attach to the French passport. So no problem.
Okay, so there is no specific problem.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've been through all the big questions we had. I saw some questions in the comments, but I don't know. I think it's really specific. I can try to ask you. You tell me if you know or not.
Sure. Let's. So while you're looking, let me remind people who just joined us, guys. Direct message me. Direct message me to my Instagram. One word: visa. So I would say maybe I will ask you a couple of questions and then figure out which is the best form for you to fill out. Then you'll fill out a form, and within 2 days, I'll get back to you with initial analysis of a free analysis of your case. So don't miss this opportunity.
It's a great gift. Thank you for that, Stanislav, because I'm sure a lot of people will take advantage of it.
And your husband needs to do this too, Sita, because he's a good candidate for the green card as well.
Yeah, but you know what? We are really, really lucky. The green card is planned for after, and we know the employer will help us to get it. So that's all planned. Not yet. We just moved in, so we will wait a bit and prolong our visa. But then I think we'll if we still like it, we'll move to the green card. But, thank you for the proposition. Someone is asking, sorry, as a nurse, is it possible to be sponsored directly by an hospital instead of a recruiting agency? But that's why it's really specific. I don't know if you know the topic.
So again, she's a nurse, and what else?
She asked if she can be sponsored by an hospital instead of a recruiting agency.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The recruiting agency is a middleman in this situation. So they make money, and the way they make money on this is that they get a cut of the wage, of the salary that of the person who they help. So let's say I'm the agent for Murad, and Murad wants to work in the hospital, and he's a nurse or a doctor, so he cannot find that employer, but I can. And I connect the hospital and Murad together, but I say, hey, Murad, whatever the hospital pays you, I get 10% cut for forever. Okay.
Forever. So, wow.
Forever.
I will be a lawyer. I need to do my study again.
I'm not doing this, by the way. I think it's a conflict of interest. So I make money on actually doing the visa. So, but that's what agency is doing. But if you can do it directly with the hospital, sure,
it's even better.
Absolutely, yeah.
There is a question here about the price you mentioned, this 11,000, 13,000. Is it only for one person, or is it for the couple or the family?
So it's all one. We don't separate.
Okay.
So basically, it's yes. Technically, the petition is for one person.
Okay.
But once that person gets the benefit, that privilege to come to the U.S., be it immigration or non-immigrant visa, that his family is attaches to that. And who is the family? The spouse and the kids below 21 years old who are not married.
Okay.
Okay. So everybody could come in based on one petition, one price.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. I'm looking in the comments if we have other questions we didn't cover. Thanks for the question.
Actually, my marketing team is saying that there are some questions on YouTube.
Oh.
So let me address that. So they sending it to my messenger. So
that's perfect.
Mike is asking. I wanted to ask that on EB1 scientific publication as a criterion. I don't have any citations. Will that count? Okay, this is a great. So what Mike is asking, he has publications, academic publications, but does he have to have citations on his publications to be part of one of the criteria for EB1A? And the answer is no, guys.
Okay.
No, you don't have to be cited. If you are cited, it's great. Okay, we can
not mandatory.
Yeah, so there is a bottom line, and there is anything above it. So the bottom line is that we have for EB1A at least 4 scientific publications, at least 4. Okay, if anything above that, if you have citations, very good, no problem. And somebody that's can really 10% is optimistic. Actually, so I've seen worse than that. Okay, I've seen worse. All right, second question, also Mike, I've heard that if I have citations that considered another criteria. Yes, so Mike, if you have anything starting above 30 citations in the publication, we may have have an argument that it's a contribution in the industry. So yes, it could be used. But I need to make a remark here that sometimes 30 citations could be enough, but sometimes 100 could be not enough. So it all depends on the particular circumstances. Jamie from YouTube, hello all. For O1A, if I have my own LLC, okay, we talked about this. Can I self-petition, do the whole I-129 and petition myself? Yes, exactly. So Jamie, we already covered this topic. O1A or O1B requires to have a US employer who will be sponsoring us, signing the petition to come and work for them. However, I have dozens upon dozens and dozens and dozens cases with O1. And by the way, O1, we have 99% approval rate for across the 10 years. We have lots of those with our own company, LLC or C Corp, sponsoring us to work for those companies. So yes, absolutely, this is a really good question. Shannon, I'm a PhD. All right, guys, PhD equals green card. Okay,
that's clear.
It's
that's
yeah,
great.
it's not that there is a program that says if you PhD you get a green card, but trust me, if you have PhD, we'll get you a green card. So I'm a PhD in linguistics. I have been teaching. I want to go for EB2NIW. Okay, I would also look at EB1A. Do I need a business plan? No, but I would want to see a professional plan. Okay, so there is a difference between professional and business plan. And if Shannon, you want to continue your scientific research and things like that, we don't need the business plan. We need the professional plan. But if you become a part of some project, let's say using your knowledge and skill and stuff, probably yes, business plan would come in, because that's already a business you're gonna make money. Okay, publications. Yes, Shannon, get a free evaluation, because it sounds like you have EB1A. That's EB1 is always better over EB2NIW because it's a shorter wait than the other. A few more questions. Tanya, I have a presidential award for my software house as best company. Does that directly qualify for EB1A, or will I have to still satisfy 3 criteria? Because I read that if you have a award, so okay, let me rephrase this question. So what Tanya is saying that in the law for EB1A, for the talent visa, if you get one big award, like we discussed in the beginning, Sita, like Oscar, Grammy, Nobel Prize, if you're Olympic champion or whatever medal you got, maybe World Cup champion in some sports. Yes, so one big award in wherever that field is, and Tanya does not say which field that exactly, so some software, something in software. So presidential award is probably not enough. Probably, all right? Most likely it's not enough. Yes, it would qualify as a award satisfying the award criterion, but we'll need 2 more on top of that. But guys, my cases, my EB1A cases, 95% of them have 6 criteria, okay? And I know we need 3, but if officer does not like 1 or 2 and he thinks subjectively that it's not enough, then we're gonna get denied, right? So we wanna get up to 6. And trust me, I know how to do this. In many cases, we can do it, even if you think you cannot do this. Yeah, we want to file with twice as much than 3 criteria. Okay, and 2 more. Jimmy, hi from Germany. Priority date May 30th, 2022. Other workers EB3. Okay, so Jimmy got EB3 approved with priority date in May 2022. My I-140 was approved last year. I saw visibility when I have chance. Okay, so guys, yesterday, by the way, yesterday a fresh visibility for October was released. Okay, Didn't really change much in there, and I do believe that for EB3 other workers, the priority day is May 2021, and Jimmy is May 2022. So when things are going to happen in 1 year. All right, so in 1 year things are going to happen. Jimmy, you will get invitation to the embassy, you'll go to the interview. Make sure you keep contact with your employer who sponsored you for EB3, because the embassy is likely to require the proof that they're still waiting for you. Okay, so this is important to be on a good terms with the employer. All right, and the last one, really complicated name, Hamid Reza. Congress or conference article published is good for EB1A. Absolutely, guys, absolutely. If you spoke at the conference or congress, especially if it has a national recognition, that event, if you spoke and your thesis was published after it, this is actually qualifying as an award, okay, as an award. And I know it's like, huh? How this is an, yes, this is alternative way for scientists and STEM people to get an award through the conferences and publications that are done after that. All right, I think we're done with the YouTube questions.
You have
Sita,
your client asking a question, taking advantage of your presence, I think.
Okay, let's see. It's if we have approval for EB2 and IW, what's the waiting time to get the interview? So about a year and a half. About a year and a half.
Wow.
Also, can we move right the way after the interview if it's more faster to get the green card? Okay, is there a faster way? Yes, if you can come to the States on a non-immigrant visa like F1, like study visa, or O1, or maybe other business visa, you can actually wait in the US for your priority date. And I didn't want to get into this, but the visa bulletin, the document that is released each month, which updates us on when we can file for the green card for the particular category of visa, they have two subcategories: the priority date and date for filing. So and I don't want to get too complicated, but a date for filing is a little bit different. It's a little bit earlier than the final action date. And if you are in the US, you can file for the green card based on those dates. Okay, so yes, there is a way, but things need to line up for this to happen.
What if we have a PhD but want to work in another field by starting out our own business? What about the green card? Good question, actually.
It's actually very good question. So if we're talking about EB2 and IW for PhDs, that's a little bit more complex because we actually promise to do certain things in our field. And we promise to the US government. And no one is going to track you. Nobody's gonna follow you with the, with the telescope camera. And trying to, camera and seeing what you're trying to do. And no, that's like, like Billie Jean and Michael Jackson. Remember the guy, the detective, taking, not gonna happen. But in 5 years, when you go to the interview for the passport, they may ask. They don't have to ask, but they may ask, hey, how is your project doing? And if you say, I came to the States and I couldn't continue, so I started, I became a long haul driver and I've been making really good money and really good stuff. This is the wrong answer. You cannot, that is really bad. Yeah, at least you have to try and put all your efforts in getting that done. And yes, you may not succeed, but you tried your best, right? So that's what you should explain if that's the case. Like, I've done everything possible. I couldn't succeed, then I started doing my business. That's good. When we're talking about, so that was EB2 and IW, right? When we promise some kind of project in a national interest, like we're going to continue research, we're going to optimize the process for the big corporations, we're going to create mental health awareness platform, our recent case from France that got approved for EB2 and IW. But if we're talking about EB1A, That's a little bit different. Yes, we still promise that we're going to apply ourselves in the field of our talents. But if PhD, whatever, it doesn't say which PhD that is, right? Pretty much any PhD could be applied in business from different sides: analytics, software, research, directing and control, if it's business related. So that, from that respect, EB1A is a better program not to fail your promises to the US government.
Okay. And I have a question about that. Also for me, when you get the green card, do you have like after that to get to the passport, or can you just be kept on green card?
Sure.
As long as you want?
Good question. Good question. So all these visas that we've been discussing, they give you a 10-year green card to you and your family. So in 5 years, you get the rights to file for the US passport. You don't have to.
So we can renew the green card as much as we want? Okay.
Yes, 10 years, 9 years and 9 months pass, and you filed a small petition, little file, asking to extend. It's no interview, nothing. So you just show you didn't commit any crimes. You don't have any problems with the law. You're a good citizen, right? So they're going to extend it for another 10 years. But I'm not a big fan of that, guys, and understand why this question is popping up. Maybe some people think that if you don't get the US passport, you're not up to the double taxation and those things like that. It's not true. It's not. Once you get your green card, you are subject to double taxation. But guys, French men, people from France, you don't have to worry about double taxation. Your country double tax you already. So the double taxation, if the country where you live tax you smaller than the US taxes you. So if your country is bigger than US, and France is one of those, you don't have to pay. And I'm not an accountant or nothing like that, but I have basic understanding. You don't have to pay double taxes in this sense.
No, it was just a general question. We don't speak about tax evasion or something like that.
No, not evasion. I'm not talking about evasion. I'm talking about optimizing taxes. So that's a little different. And I believe that it's still our best choice still to file for US passport as soon as possible, because then you're absolutely free in everything. You don't have this 6 months requirement to live in the US. You don't have that you cannot live for more than 6 months between two when you leave and you come back, because you still have certain things you have to do, certain requirements, obligations under a green card. With the passport, you remove all obligations, and basically those that you had with the green card, they're the same with the passport. This with only one thing. And I'm not 100% sure about that, but I do believe that's so. If you want to give up your green card, you don't get any. You give up and that's it. You go, right? But if you want to give up the US passport, you have to pay the exit tax.
Exit tax, yeah.
And that's like 40% of your assets. So if, like, I'll say it this way, if you're getting the US passport, you're probably not giving up on it.
But there is no real reason to. I think normal people would not have any reason to abandon it, except maybe a marriage with I don't know, a marriage with another country where they don't accept it. I don't know, but
true.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
And I have a last question which covers everything else that was not covered, I think. Do you have other requirements or I would say in another way, either requirements or impeachment around English level, age, origin, color, anything, health conditions?
No. So the health condition, there are certain diseases that that will disqualify you, but in the modern world, they don't exist. So technically, there are ways to be disqualified on a medical ground, but it's not going to affect any of us. Age, color, origin, if your eyes are big, if they're small, if they like this, if your nose to the left, no. It's the federal government, and there are very strong anti-discriminatory policies. So the age, I get this question a lot. Stanislav, I'm 65, I'm 49, different people think they're old in different ages, right? So my oldest client that I had in my practice, he was, I can't remember, 72 or 75 years old. He was investor, and he was getting the angel investment from US venture capital to start his startup in the US. I was
75?
Wow.
Wow, that's great.
I was like, you're my role model, in 75, like getting the angel investment. Like those people don't look at your age, right? They look at your idea. So same with they don't care. We have like elder clients, and as long as you qualify for visa requirements, and I can tell you if you do it or if you don't by getting the free evaluation in the case, and you guys know how to do this, DM me visa, right? One word visa. So once we get that, nothing else matters.
Okay, good. But I have to precise, when you want to come to the US, be also clear about the health condition, because the health insurance here is a big topic. So you have to be prepared.
Be healthy. Yes. Be healthy.
Thank you very much.
It was very nice talking to you. Yes, thank you for your time. I think it was very informative, and I believe we brought a lot of value to people who listen to us.
I think so. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you giving me your time. I appreciate your charisma, your optimism, and your adventurous spirit to explore the US and let everybody know about what's going on here. I do believe this is the best country in the world, and hopefully someone who listened to us on this stream is going to be one of us very soon.
Okay, I will just say again in French what you said about visa. Donc tous les Français qui ont envie de partir aux États-Unis, vous pouvez envoyer à Stanislav, je vais vous donner l'adresse, le mot visa, V-I-S-A, en DM, vous lui envoyez visa, et en 2 jours, il vous fera une évaluation de cas gratuite qui dit est-ce que vous pouvez y aller ou pas. Ce qu'il pense de votre potentiel de visa et quel visa il conseille. C'est gratuit, ça n'engage pas derrière à faire un dossier ni quoi que ce soit. Vous avez vu, il a parlé des prix des dossiers, ça commence à 11 000 $ et ça monte et ça peut être illimité. Mais en tout cas, il vous fera l'évaluation gratuite. Donc, par ce mot-là, vous lui envoyez à lui visa et vous recevrez ça. Merci à tous pour votre présence. Thank you very much, Stanislav, for all your insights. It will be really helpful and useful, I think. I will do everything for the replay, prepare it, so that the people can watch it also with French subtitles, because most of them need it, I think. And yeah, and Murad is closing it, saying he recommends you. So oui, via Instagram. Yes, via Instagram. DM in Instagram. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Bye, Stanislav. Have a great day.